Sometimes fate throws curveballs, guiding us to information precisely when we need it most. Perhaps it's no coincidence that you're watching this now. Life has moments when new horizons unexpectedly open up. Deep inside, you already sense the impending changes. You may be on the verge of a significant breakthrough you've been waiting for. Imagine the calm before the storm, when everything around you stills in anticipation of change. The internal tension builds as if an explosion or liberation is about to occur. It's a state between the past and the future, between the known and the unknown. It's at times like these that many begin to doubt their readiness for change. Perhaps you've been working hard towards this breakthrough, overcoming difficulties and obstacles, and now, despite all your efforts, you feel stuck. Sometimes the closer you get to the goal, the harder the path seems. The universe seems to be testing you, checking your readiness to accept everything you've dreamed of. Many can't withstand this tension and give up, losing hope of success. In moments of despair, it's easy to succumb to the thought of failure and the futility of your efforts. But it's important to remember that in these critical moments, when it seems that your strength is exhausted, the long-awaited breakthrough is closer than ever. Imagine the moment of calm before the storm, when a colossal dam is about to collapse under the pressure of the water it's holding back. The increasing tension that one feels at such moments in life doesn't indicate impending defeat. On the contrary, it foreshadows significant changes and a breakthrough. Just as the water pressure reaches its peak before the dam bursts, so too in life, seemingly insurmountable difficulties are often harbingers of a long-awaited breakthrough. It's quite natural that fears and doubts overwhelm a person at such pivotal moments, because changes, even positive ones, can cause anxiety. People tend to cling to the familiar because it gives a sense of stability and security. However, the upcoming breakthrough requires a willingness to let go of outdated beliefs, patterns, and structures that have hindered personal growth. It requires the courage to step into the unknown. It's important to realize that the period immediately preceding a breakthrough is often characterized by chaos and confusion. It seems as if all areas of life are thrown into disarray, only to be rebuilt into something new and better. This chaos isn't a sign of losing control, but a signal of the destruction of the old order, giving way to the new. It's a necessary, though painful, process. The upcoming breakthrough isn't just external changes, such as a new job, achieving a goal, or improving relationships. It's a deep internal transformation that begins with rethinking oneself. All previous life experiences, all lessons learned, acquired skills, and overcome difficulties are preparation for the upcoming changes, shaping a personality capable of handling any challenge. Often people don't notice their own growth because their vision is blurred by everyday life and difficulties. Attention is involuntarily focused on current problems and failures, overshadowing the prospect of progress made. However, it's worth pausing and looking back to assess the journey. Each obstacle overcome, each failure and moment of doubt has become a stepping stone to future success. It's the inner work on oneself that has brought a person to the current point. Perhaps this isn't obvious now, but all past events were necessary to achieve future triumph. The upcoming breakthrough isn't an accident or luck, but a logical result of purposeful preparation, even if the person wasn't aware of it at the moment. At this crucial moment, it's extremely important to trust the process. Fear and doubt are natural companions of change, but you can't let them stop you from moving forward. You're on the verge of a breakthrough that will unleash all your accumulated potential. And when this happens, it will become clear that all the efforts and sacrifices weren't in vain. Often, fateful changes invade our lives in a way we didn't imagine. It often seems that the world around us is about to collapse before gaining new harmony. Sometimes what we perceive as a loss turns out to be a liberation from outdated and unnecessary things. However, if you maintain faith in the best and confidence in your abilities, you can see that every step, even the most painful, has inexorably brought you closer to the present moment. You're on the verge of great achievements. What you've been striving for, what you've been working tirelessly on, is about to become a reality. But before this happens, you need to make sure you're ready to accept the gifts of fate. At this crucial moment, the universe calls you to trust it, let go of control, and open your heart to the upcoming changes. Fear may be a companion on this difficult journey, but it shouldn't paralyze your will. Fear is merely a signal that a person has left their comfort zone, and it is precisely there that personal growth occurs. It is impossible to develop while remaining in familiar surroundings. Growth always happens on the boundaries of the unknown, and right now you are standing on that boundary, on the edge between what is and what is about to happen. You should take a deep breath and realize that you are exactly where you need to be at this moment. This is not just a coincidence. The fact that you are watching this video right now is also not accidental. The universe has led you to this because it knows you are ready for your big breakthrough. Your task is to remain steadfast, believe in the process, and be prepared to take the next step, even if it leads into the unknown. As a rule, as you approach a significant breakthrough, fear and uncertainty tend to intensify. It is precisely at the moment when you are ready to move to a new stage in your life that old fears, doubts, and insecurities seem to surface with unprecedented force. It's as if everything you've been avoiding has decided to manifest right before the most important moment. It is natural to feel overwhelmed, but it is important to remember one thing: fear is a constant companion of growth. When you are about to move towards something new, when you are about to leave behind your former self, fear appears because you are moving away from the familiar. The human brain is designed in such a way that it prefers the known, because the known, no matter how uncomfortable it may be, creates an illusion of security. Everything outside this comfort zone is perceived as a risk. However, many people do not realize that fear in this context is not a sign that you are on the wrong track. On the contrary, fear may indicate that you are exactly where you need to be. Fear does not arise when you stand still or are in your comfort zone. It appears when you grow, when you are about to take a step into the unknown, towards something that could potentially change your life. Fear is not your enemy, but simply a sign that you are doing something important, something significant. It is an indicator that you are on the verge of change. And if you can realize this, if you learn to feel fear without letting it stop you, you will be in a much better position to move towards your goals and desires. Often, people make the same mistake. They try to avoid fear, run away from it, or completely eradicate it before they start acting. It is a common belief that fear signals unreadiness and that it is not worth moving forward. However, the truth is that fear will always be present to some extent. Regardless of the efforts invested in personal growth and preparation, there will always be an element of uncertainty when taking an important step. The main thing is not to eliminate fear, but to learn to live with it, to move forward despite its presence. After all, it is behind fear that personal growth and a significant breakthrough lie. Fear is like a door that needs to be opened. It is proof of a sincere commitment to your desires. So how do you deal with the fear that arises right before a major breakthrough? The first tool is awareness. When you notice fear arising, don't resist it or let it paralyze you. Instead, observe it and ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Often, when analyzing fear, it becomes clear that it is not as scary as it seemed at first. Perhaps it is the fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown. But by studying each of these fears, you can come to understand that these are just mental constructs created by the mind. The second tool is action. Often the best way to overcome fear is to act despite its presence. You don't have to wait for a feeling of complete confidence before taking the next step. Complete confidence is more of an illusion. A certain degree of uncertainty will always be present, and the sooner a person accepts this, the easier it will be to move forward. Action creates momentum, which in turn dissipates fear. Do not forget about an important aspect: the awareness that you are not alone on this path of self-improvement. Despite the uniqueness of each personal breakthrough, millions of people around the world are currently experiencing their own moments of struggle with fears. We are all participants in this common journey aimed at personal growth and transformation. The feeling of fear that you are experiencing is not something exceptional, but a natural component of human existence. Realizing that other people also face similar difficulties and successfully overcome them can give you additional confidence and strength to move forward. In addition to fear, another frequent companion on the threshold of a significant breakthrough is uncertainty. It's quite possible you're sensing an important step approaching, yet you lack a clear vision of the path ahead or the ultimate outcomes. This lack of clarity can lead to feelings of overwhelm. It's human nature to crave predictability and assurance of success before taking a risk. However, reality often deviates from these expectations. Uncertainty is an inherent part of moving forward, and like fear, it shouldn't be avoided. Instead of trying to control every detail or waiting for the perfect moment, it's crucial to learn to trust the unfolding of events. You need to believe that even if you can't see every step along the way, everything is progressing in the best possible manner. Sometimes a significant breakthrough doesn't arrive in the form you anticipated. Life often presents pivotal opportunities unexpectedly, and solutions manifest in unforeseen guises. Maintaining an open mind and being prepared for unpredictable twists is paramount. The universe possesses an extraordinary ability to restructure circumstances, guiding you to the right place and time for a triumphant breakthrough to materialize. However, if your mind is fixated on a rigid, preconceived notion of what that breakthrough should look like, you might easily miss opportunities right in front of you. One effective way to manage uncertainty is to focus on what you can control. While the exact scenario of your upcoming breakthrough might remain hazy, you always have the power to manage your mindset, energy, and actions. Continue to prepare diligently, work on yourself, and make decisions that steadily move you closer to your cherished goals, even if the full picture isn't yet visible. Focusing on controllable aspects provides a sense of strength and confidence, even when external circumstances seem chaotic and unpredictable. At the same time, it's vital to learn to recognize the harbingers of an impending breakthrough. The universe constantly communicates with you, sending subtle hints that point you in the right direction. These signs can take various forms: an unexpected conversation that brings long-awaited clarity, an opportunity that seems to materialize out of nowhere, or even an inner feeling signaling imminent change. When you're in harmony with your true aspirations, you begin to notice amazing synchronicities more frequently, like signs of destiny. For example, if you're considering a career change, you might unexpectedly meet someone already working in the field you're interested in, or, while searching for a solution to a personal problem, you might receive valuable advice or an idea from someone who seems to have appeared by chance. These events aren't mere coincidences, but manifestations of the universe guiding you towards your long-awaited breakthrough. However, to recognize these signs, you must be attentive to what's happening around you, be mindful of the present, and be open to receiving the universe's gifts. As you move forward, it's crucial to cultivate a sense of gratitude. Gratitude not only maintains a positive attitude, but also allows you to acknowledge all the achievements you've already made. Often people are so engrossed in thoughts of the future that they forget about the progress they've already achieved. It's important to take time to reflect on your personal growth and the small victories you've won along the way. Gratitude allows you to enjoy the process itself, even before the long-awaited breakthrough arrives. As you progress towards these significant changes, remember a fundamental principle. Consistency is key to success. Many people tend to believe that life-altering breakthroughs happen spontaneously, like unexpected good fortune or a sudden epiphany from above. However, practice shows that significant achievements are, in most cases, the result of systematic and unwavering efforts that gradually build a powerful momentum. This momentum becomes the driving force that helps you overcome periods of uncertainty, fear, and discouragement. It allows you to cope with inertia when it seems impossible to move forward. To maintain this momentum, you must constantly cultivate energy within yourself. Here, many make the mistake of believing that they should wait for a surge of motivation before taking action. They hope that momentum will arise on its own when all circumstances align perfectly. But in reality, momentum is the result of active action, not its precursor. As soon as you start moving forward, even taking small steps each day, you initiate a process of generating internal energy that propels you to new achievements. This process can be compared to pushing a snowball down a slope. Initially, significant effort is required to move it. But once it gains momentum, it starts moving on its own, gathering more and more strength as it progresses. So how do you ensure steady progress towards a long-awaited triumph? The answer lies in discipline, a word that often evokes aversion, associated with self-restraint and severity. However, in reality, discipline opens the way to true freedom. A conscious attitude to daily actions and decisions forms a reliable foundation, allowing you to move forward despite fleeting fluctuations in motivation. Instead of passively waiting for inspiration, focus on developing useful habits that steadily bring you closer to your goal. These habits do not have to be grandiose or complex. It is enough to devote a few minutes a day to working on an important task, cultivating positive thinking, or practicing gratitude. The key factor is consistency. Over time, these minor actions accumulate, creating the necessary momentum to be fully prepared when the long-awaited breakthrough arrives. Equally important is creating a favorable environment, both physical and social. If there is chaos around, distractions and negativity, it will be difficult to maintain the necessary concentration and energy. An inspiring environment and reminders of goals, on the contrary, help maintain momentum. The same applies to the people with whom a person communicates. If those around you do not share your values and aspirations, or constantly sow doubts and negativity, this can drain your energy. Therefore, it is important to surround yourself with like-minded people who support you, believe in your success, and are ready to share this path. These people will remind you of your strengths when your confidence falters and help you maintain momentum when your strength is running out. At the same time, it is necessary to carefully monitor the internal dialogue. How a person talks to themselves can have a decisive impact on success. Self-criticism, doubts about one's own strengths, and anticipation of failure will sabotage progress. While a benevolent attitude towards oneself, support, and confidence in the correctness of the chosen path, on the contrary, will give energy. You should not wait for ideal conditions to start acting. Often it is overcoming difficulties and moving forward, despite everything, that leads to real success. In life, ideal circumstances rarely arise for a decisive step that can radically change fate. There will always be difficulties and reasons for doubt. However, it is the willingness to move forward, despite uncertainty or unfavorable developments, that distinguishes those who make significant breakthroughs from those who remain in place. Here, the concept of flexibility comes to the fore. On the path to a big breakthrough, failures and deviations from the intended course are inevitable. At such moments, it is easy to succumb to a feeling of defeat or loss of hard-earned momentum. But flexibility allows you to adapt to changing circumstances and continue moving towards your goal, even if the route has changed. Being flexible means being ready to adjust your approach, change direction, without losing sight of the ultimate goal. This is not a rejection of what you want, but an openness to different ways of achieving it. Sometimes what seems like a deviation or failure actually turns out to be a redirection to something better. It is important to learn lessons from these deviations, not to perceive them as failures. Each obstacle carries valuable experience. This may be a lesson in patience, perseverance, or humility. Perhaps it indicates the need for personal growth to achieve what you want. By meeting difficulties with an open mind and a willingness to learn instead of resisting, a person becomes stronger and better prepared for future challenges. One way to maintain flexibility and openness is to practice meditation or daily reflection. By devoting just a few minutes a day to silence, concentration, and connection with your inner self, you can learn to recognize subtle signals that indicate the need for adjustments in life. Meditation helps clear the mind of noise and external distractions, allowing you to listen to your intuition. This practice not only helps maintain the momentum of movement, but also directs you to the necessary changes that ensure more effective progress. In the process of advancing to new career heights, it is extremely important not to lose sight of moments for well-deserved recognition and celebration of achievements. Often, striving for a cherished goal, we neglect the opportunity to appreciate the significance of intermediate stages. It is necessary to realize that every, even the most modest step forward, brings you closer to the desired promotion and deserves due attention. Celebrating achieved results, despite their apparent insignificance, serves as a powerful incentive for further movement and reminds you of the value of the efforts made. Don't postpone the feeling of satisfaction until you reach the final goal. The very fact of steadily moving forward, of persistently overcoming obstacles, is already a reason to be proud and celebrate. Moreover, during the preparation for a decisive career leap, it is important to remember the cyclical nature of life processes. There are inevitable periods when energy and enthusiasm are at their peak, followed by moments of fatigue and disappointment. Such fluctuations are a natural part of the journey and should not be seen as a sign of failure or the impossibility of achieving the goal. It is important to learn to respect these cycles and use them for good. During periods of high energy, you should maximize your energy to accelerate progress, and during periods of decline, you should allow yourself to rest and recover, knowing that the impulse will soon return, bringing you closer to the long-awaited breakthrough. Triumph is an exciting moment when tireless efforts, unwavering persistence, deep dedication to a favorite cause, and unwavering faith in progress are finally rewarded with tangible results. This could be the long-awaited receipt of a coveted position, the achievement of a significant personal goal that has long seemed unattainable, or the overcoming of a difficult obstacle that previously seemed an insurmountable barrier. Regardless of the specific manifestation of triumph, it is important to realize that this is not the end point, but only a starting point for a new chapter in life. Despite the overwhelming joy and deep sense of satisfaction, it is from this moment that a new, responsible stage begins, maintaining what has been achieved, deepening positive changes, and expanding the scale of success. Unfortunately, many people, having tasted great success or triumphantly overcome serious difficulties, make a common mistake, mistakenly believing that now they can relax and stop active efforts. They succumb to the illusion that they have reached some final station where the further path will be easy and carefree. However, the reality is that life is arranged differently. Success and personal growth are not frozen, static destinations, but dynamic processes that are in a state of continuous evolution. Each great success is just another step on the endless ladder of personal evolution, and it is how a person decides to act after this achievement that will determine their future destiny and new horizons of development. The awareness of the boundlessness of improvement is the cornerstone of maintaining a clear mind at the peak of success. Taking the intended height is not the final point, but rather a springboard for further development, using the acquired knowledge and achieved results. Adopting a philosophy of continuous growth allows you to realize that every triumph is just a platform for new, even more significant achievements. This mindset helps to avoid the dangerous trap that lies in wait after a major victory, complacency. This state occurs when, having achieved what you want, a person allows themselves excessive relaxation and stops active actions. There is an illusion that enough has been done and further growth or learning is not required. However, the insidiousness of complacency lies in the fact that, while giving a short-term sense of peace, in the long term it is fraught with the loss of conquered positions. Stopping efforts and searching for ways to further improve inevitably leads to stagnation. And although it may seem that the peak has been reached, life is relentlessly moving forward. Refusal to further develop is fraught with the loss of the impulse that initially led to success. That is why cultivating a growth mindset is of paramount importance. It is necessary to always remain receptive to innovative ideas, new knowledge, and new ways for progress. The main way to avoid stagnation is to maintain the living fire of curiosity that initially prompted the search for your triumph. You should constantly ask yourself questions, challenge your capabilities, strive for improvement, and look for ways to develop in all areas of your existence. Regardless of the number of peaks reached, there will always be something unexplored, something worth exploring, something new that can be discovered in yourself and in the world around you. Another important aspect after achieving significant success is taking care of your own well-being. Often, in striving to achieve a large-scale goal, people focus so much on achieving it that they lose sight of taking care of themselves along the way. Perhaps you had to work overtime, sacrifice rest, or even neglect your physical and emotional health. Now that success has been achieved, it is time to realize that it loses its meaning if there is no way to fully enjoy its fruits. After the triumphant completion of an important stage in life, there comes a moment when it is necessary to pay attention to restoring strength, both physical and mental. Don't deny yourself a well-deserved celebration, savoring every moment of triumph and paying homage to your own efforts invested in achieving the goal. Self-care is not an indulgence but a vital necessity, ensuring readiness for further accomplishments and strengthening conquered positions. Equally important is analyzing the journey, full of both triumphant moments and difficult trials. Now that the summit has been conquered, it is worth looking back and reflecting on how the experience has influenced personal growth. What lessons have been learned about yourself, your abilities, strengths, and areas that need improvement? Reflection is a powerful tool that allows you to consolidate the knowledge gained and apply it in the future. Mindless forward movement without pauses for reflection is fraught with missing valuable lessons that could be useful in future endeavors. Life constantly provides opportunities for learning, and the ability to integrate these lessons into your essence will allow you to be more prepared for new successes that will inevitably come. For further triumphal progress after a resounding success, it is crucial to create an atmosphere of support and constructive criticism around you where everyone is ready to challenge your capabilities and aspirations. Your social circle has a tremendous impact on your energy, mindset, and ability to develop further. You need to surround yourself with like-minded people who share your values, support your personal growth, and inspire you to new achievements, even when it seems that the summit has already been conquered. It is tempting to surround yourself with people who generously shower you with praise and avoid difficult questions, but such connections are unlikely to contribute to your further development. On the contrary, you need those who will push you to further evolution, stimulate you to go beyond the usual and comfortable. It is these allies who will not only support your endeavors, but also help you stay focused on continuous improvement. Another cornerstone on the path to new horizons is cultivating a sense of gratitude. This quality is necessary not only in the moment of triumph, but also in every subsequent day. Constant practice of gratitude maintains a high level of energy, helps to appreciate what has been achieved, and opens doors for new opportunities. Gratitude establishes a connection with the abundance that is already present in life and reminds you that there is always something to strive for. Regardless of the scale of achievements, gratitude allows you to move forward with a positive attitude and an open heart. It helps to see opportunities even in the most difficult situations and reminds you that despite past successes, there is always room for new thanks and achievements. Ultimately, personal achievements are not limited to the individual sphere. Achieving significant goals has a profound impact on others. Success, personal growth, and evolution serve as a powerful source of inspiration for other people. Continuous forward movement and self-improvement benefit not only the individual but also pave the way for imitation. Perhaps one does not always realize who is following their path, but undoubtedly there are those in their environment who draw inspiration from their example. The ability to overcome difficulties, show perseverance in difficult situations, and continue to develop despite the successes achieved becomes a beacon for others. By supporting the attitude of continuous growth, one encourages others to follow this principle. Success can be a powerful incentive, encouraging others to take their own steps forward. Thus, personal achievements become more than just an individual triumph. They become a source of inspiration and a transformative force for others, triggering a chain reaction of growth and development. By continuing to work on oneself, striving for perfection and expanding consciousness, one contributes to the upliftment not only of one's own life but also of the lives of those around them.